This presentation provides an introduction to Neural ID's Intelligent Waveform Service, or IWS, and gives an example of processing impedance data generated by ASEA Biosciences. Neural ID's Intelligent Waveform Service, or IWS, is a data reduction and analysis suite designed to accelerate life science research and development. R&D teams use IWS to convert large, raw signal datasets into information suitable for lab notebooks, reports, filings, and further analysis. From discovery through preclinical, clinical, and consumer, Neural ID provides the only collaborative biosignal analytics platform spanning the pharmaceutical life cycle. IWS is a scalable enterprise solution that addresses the industry's productivity crisis. IWS outputs analytics into a standard database. IWS is delivered with a suite of tools and SQL code to generate reports in Excel, IDBS BioBook, and Spotfire. Researchers can now collaborate to train IWS to recognize and measure biosignals via a user-friendly Workbench client. The consolidated knowledge base, stored with analysis templates, becomes a reusable asset. IWS can read and process data in multiple vendor formats, enabling users to manage data from discovery assays through the preclinical and clinical trials to consumer applications. Neural ID's patented Cure technology processes data to produce numerical analytics. IWS processes in minutes what would have taken days before and helps the researcher make better decisions faster. Customer studies have shown a 5 to 10x increase in productivity with a 3 to 5% improvement in the quality of results. IWS is architected for the enterprise. Key elements of the architecture are the Workbench, which supports a wide range of industry-standard data formats. Reusable and shareable tools, which promote rapid development and analysis. The job management tools provide an instant view of analysis progress, in addition to automatic notification via text messaging or email. IWS uses a client-server model where the deployments can be scaled from a single user to multi-users to multi-servers and across the entire enterprise. Oracle, SQL Server, and Postgres are some of the industry-standard databases IWS supports. Reporting tools enable visibility into the analysis with standard spreadsheet tools like Excel or advanced dashboards like IDBS eWorkbook or TIBCO Spotfire. This part of the presentation focuses on the processing of the ASEA Biosciences impedance data. This presentation demonstrates Neural ID's Intelligent Waveform Service, analyzing data that was previously generated by an ASEA Xcelligent multi-electrode array platform. The first thing we'll need to do is to create an analysis template for handling the data. With the IWS Workbench already attached to a local server, we do this by selecting the server and then right-clicking and selecting New Analysis Template. We'll call this template Contractility, and we'll configure the number of channels to 96, since that is the number of channels generated by the platform. The Contractility template has now been created and is displayed in the Sites and Servers palette. We'll double-click to enter Setup mode. Looking along the Setup Mode tabs, select Input. There are two modes of input: single individual files, or a file set that is a group of individual files that are virtually concatenated together and appear as a single file to IWS. We'll choose individual files and then select Browse. Next, we'll locate and select the training file that we'd like to work on. We'll use ASEA file number 5, which is a good representation of impedance data. Once the file is displayed, we will select it. We may have multiple files available, but only a single file or file set can be accessed during setup. After the file is selected, we'll see the other setup tabs become available. There is a grid view that shows a geometric view of all 96 channels. There is an original or unfiltered view which shows a stacked arrangement of the channels. And there is a filtered view. We'll come back to that in a moment. From the experiment, we know that the valid data is only on channels 1 through 52. By going back to the grid view, we're going to take the remaining channels, select them by drag and click, and right-click to disable all of those channels. Going back into the original tab, just the 52 valid channels are present, with the others being disabled. By previously reviewing the data, we know that the valid data starts on segment 2, with the first segment being a calibration piece. We'll increment up to the second segment and see the data displayed. Here is where we will start. We'll adjust the height of the channels to see 2 complete channels. IWS includes standard tools where we can zoom in, zoom out, and zoom by factors of 2. There is also a tool called a probe that returns amplitude and time locations across each channel in the waveform display. IWS also has a graphical ruler type tool that returns the time and amplitude differences between 2 different data points. Next, we're going to shift our focus to the Filtered tab. This tab is where any signal processing, machine learning, and pattern recognition takes place. There are currently no filters applied to these channels. However, we can see that there is some high-frequency ripple that might be reduced through the application of a filter. We'll zoom in to better see the ripple. Then we'll right-click in between the channels and select Properties, and then Global Filter. We'll click Add a Row. We'll choose a low-pass filter. Apply that filter, and at this point we'll be able to modify the filter settings. We'll set the low-pass cutoff to approximately 8 Hz and click OK. And by comparing with the original tab, you can see that the signal has been slightly cleaned up. The next step is to create a beat detector, or what Neural ID refers to as a marker. We'll select Add Marker, and we'll give it the letter name M for marker. A gradient marker type will be selected, which will key in on the slope of the signal. We'll enter some relatively straightforward numbers, 0.1 for rise, 0.2 for run, and 0.2 for suppression, which is the same as a debounce. We want to apply this detector to all channels. IWS also has the ability to control the object's graphical attributes. We can set the color, line width, and line style. I'll set a few of my favorites here. After we're finished setting up the marker, we'll click OK to exit marker setup. Then we'll click the Analyze button to see our results. You can see that we are finding all of the steep, upward-going edges of the signal. Now that the markers are working properly, we're going to add a pattern. A pattern will define the area used for pattern recognition. We'll select Add Pattern, and draw a box around one of the gaps. We'll give it a name BE, short for beat. We'll use the registration marker M. Because the marker is to the right of the leading edge of the pattern, we'll choose to use the right marker. We will apply this pattern to all channels. A loose recognition tolerance will be set so that the pattern recognition will handle a wide variety of gap shapes. After a gap is located, a critical element will be how do we measure the gap. We'll next select the Metrology tab and enable metrology. Next, we'll select the maximum curvature method to detect the left and right elbows, or the points of maximum curvature on the left and right sides. The max curvature methods require some input parameters depending upon the data. These numbers fine-tune the sensitivity to the curve and can be determined experimentally. We'll enter a few generic values that are well suited for this waveform. Left extension 25, left search window 25, right search window 45, right extension 45. There are also sensitivity settings for each side. We'll set both of these to 65. Similar to markers, we can also set graphics attributes such as colors, line width, and line style for patterns. This can be extremely helpful when there is more than one pattern type in use. The last step is to train the pattern. We'll perform a right-click inside the box and select Learn. To verify our settings, we'll test the recognition by performing a local analyze, which processes all the data being displayed. We'll click the Analyze button. We can see that the markers and patterns are being found, and that the left and right elbows are being identified. We'll scroll down the remaining channels to make sure that we are getting good recognition. It appears that even with very minimal training, IWS is doing a good job with the detection. Channel 33 appears to be just noise, so we'll right-click and disable it by unchecking it from the list. We'll now move over to the Database tab. Before the template can be submitted as a job, we need to define the database that the results will be written into. IWS is compatible with industry standard databases such as Oracle, SQL Server, and Postgres. A temporary name can be given to the database connection. We'll call this one DB. For this job, we'll use a database string name of DSN equals IWS64, which refers to an existing 64-bit Postgres database. After we click on OK, we can test our database connection. Connection test succeeded. We'll next save the template and exit setup mode. To submit this template as a job, we must first select it, then we'll do a right-click and select Run Job. We're presented with some job parameters that can be modified, but for now, we are just going to click on Run. The job will move into the job tree, shown in the lower left corner. If the server is available, it will transition right into the running state. While the job is running, we can review the job parameters and statistics, such as the number of markers, the number of patterns detected, and the number of segments that are being processed. This job completed in 35 seconds with 10,505 markers and 10,482 beat patterns. For the rest of the results, we'll need to shift over to a reporting tool such as the IDBS eWorkbook Suite, TIBCO Spotfire, or Microsoft Excel. For this demonstration, we'll start with Excel. NeuralID has developed plugins for our various partners' products that help us analyze the data. We'll start by selecting Add-ins and then Jobs Analysis. We'll connect to the database, and we'll select the last job that was run by recognizing the job number and the name Contractility. We'll select the report option to be Impedance. There are other reports available for preclinical and cardio MEA. We'll select the report to be Beat Duration, which is the width of the gap between the left and right elbows. We'll also select to generate the plot and generate statistics. And generate. We're being prompted to clear any existing sheets. Yes. The data by channel and the plots are being generated. We've created a table that has information about every channel. If we scroll all the way to the right beyond channel 52, we'll see the contractility gaps plotted by channel. With this presentation, we have demonstrated NeuralID's IWS easily processing multi-channel impedance data generated by ASEA's Xcelligence platform and exporting the results into an industry-standard tool. Thank you for watching this instructional video, and we hope it was beneficial. For more information, please contact NeuralID using the displayed contact information or visit the website at www.neuralid.com.